If you haven't seen the first part of this video, then I really don't know how you're here, but anyway, link in the description. I may as well add that 0% of you watching are currently subscribed, so I mean, if you want to. So let's not waste time, watch the first part, blah blah blah, let's get into it. In 1995, the exoplanet 51 Pegassi b, otherwise known as Dominion, was discovered. This planet has been dubbed a hot Jupiter due to its similarities to Neptune obviously. The discovery of such a planet confirmed that non-solar system planets, as commonly believed, do in fact orbit a sun-like star. Two brain cats, Reinhard Genzel and Andrea Ghez, confirmed in the journal article that there's something at the centre of our galaxy. It's pretty big. It's pretty dense. It's probably a black hole, but we can't confirm that yet. Despite confirming a supermassive object at the centre of our galaxy, an actual image of what is greatly suspected to be a black hole had yet to be seen. For now. Their continued efforts eventually led to the pair being awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2020. NASA sent the Mars Pathfinder to, well, Mars. Pretty cool you're thinking, but wait, I have more. From Pathfinder, NASA subsequently launched Sojourner. This was the first instance of a rover operating beyond the Earth-Moon system. Despite only having a 7-day mission planned, the little rover soldiered on for 83 days. Sojourner will begin an obsession with driving robots around the Red Planet, but more on them in 15 years. The United States, Russia, Canada, Japan and the ESA all came together to launch the International Space Station. The ISS is like a hotel, spacious, with facilities for up to 6 personnel. The ISS is also a big flying lab, used to perform scientific experiments in low Earth orbit, including research on diseases, 3D printing, research on the effects of long-term spaceflight on bones and muscle mass in astronauts, as well as work towards a fifth state of matter, Bose-Einstein condensate. For 1999, we need to go back to 1961. Handsome man Gus Grimson returns to Earth after becoming only the second American in space. You would think once you land you're in the clear, but no. When his craft, the Mercury Redstone 4, landed in the North Atlantic Ocean, problems began. When the hatch of the craft opened, it began taking on water. Now, the reason why the craft took on water is controversial, with a lot of blame being put towards Gus. However, we're not going to go into this in this video. What matters is that the module sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Until now, and by now I mean 1999. The cool cats at the Discovery Channel, in celebration of the 30th anniversary of Apollo 11, paid for the craft to be raised off the ocean floor. The mission was a success, and the piece of American space history went to a museum where it belongs. We finally made it to the new millennium, the year 2000, an unbelievably futuristic world. This year saw the first of many long-term residents climb aboard the ISS. Since the 2nd of November 2000, there has been a permanent human population in space aboard the International Space Station. Astronauts often spend 6-month-long shifts in the station before being switched out with a new crew, so continuing the cycle which has been going on for over 20 years at this point. Once again, I don't have a lot to say for these next 4 years, so big breath fellas, it's time to put this into maximum overdrive. 2001, the Near Shoemaker probe becomes the first probe to successfully land on an asteroid, landing on 433 EROS on the 12th of February 2001. This was the first time NASA won the race to land on a celestial body, amazing when they claim to have won the space race. In 2002, the 2001 Mars Odyssey probe, yeah just go with it, finds evidence of ice water under the Martian surface. This is important as if there's water on Mars, and there's water on Earth, and there's life on Earth, you can figure out the rest. Also, any water may benefit future missions to Mars, as I'm guessing the astronauts on Mars may get thirsty during their time on the surface. By measuring the differences in temperature within the cosmic background radiation using the WMAP, NASA was able to establish the age of the universe to be 13.74 billion years old. Amazingly, this is 50 years older than the Queen. 2004 saw the first transit of Venus since the 1800s. This occurs when Venus is in between the Earth and the Sun, allowing for measurements. The transit is notable for tending to occur in pairs, with another transit occurring in 2012. Yet after 2012, the next transit is due in December 2117. And breathe. 2005 saw the solar system grow a bit larger with the announcement of a new dwarf planet, EROS. The new body, slightly smaller than Pluto in terms of surface area, was found in the scattered disk region of the outer solar system. Speaking of Pluto, tissues at the ready here, this is the big sad portion of the video. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union (IAU) held a conference to more rigidly define what a planet is. The 3 points raised all made sense: must orbit the Sun, must have a hydrostatic equilibrium, TLDR, forces cancel out and it is a round shape, and it must be the largest gravitational object in its orbit around the Sun. Yep, that all makes sense. Wait, that means Pluto isn't a planet. Yes, the new definition classified the traditional 9th planet from the Sun as a dwarf planet. The reason behind this was, due to Pluto being only a small portion of the total mass in its orbit, it is unable to dominate its orbit. This news went down like a warm glass of someone else's sick. Essentially, every diagram you had seen up to that point was a lie and there were only 8 planets. At the time, NASA's head of the soon-to-be-launched New Horizons probe, which coincidentally was due to visit Pluto, described the decision as embarrassing and that the 3 points were an awful definition, which, given the peer-reviewing process, was a relatively nice pushback. In 2007, an Earth-like exoplanet in what is considered the habitable zone is discovered. Gillespie 581c is believed to be about 50% larger than Earth and orbits a red dwarf star. This planet in the Gillespie 581 system 100% exists, but more on Gillespie 581 later. The economy may be collapsing, but the space hype train keeps on moving forward. 2008 was the first successful instance of an asteroid impact prediction. 2008 TC3 impacted northern Sudan after being tracked prior to arriving on Earth. The observations allowed astronomers, many of whom were amateurs, to track and predict the asteroid's eventual landing spot in Africa. This ability to track and monitor asteroids destined for impact with Earth may, in the future, prevent an apocalyptically bad day. The economy still isn't great. Budgets are tight. What should we do? I know, let's crash a multi-million-dollar satellite into the moon. The probe, LIGO, was purposely crashed into a crater near the lunar South Pole on the 9th of October 2009. The results found a whole 26 gallons of water. This may not sound like a lot, but I like to think of it this way. If you're in the desert, on the brink of terminal dehydration, you'd be happy to find 26 gallons of water, especially if it's the tasty moon kind. Plus, the discovery of water may pave the way for future missions using Moon as a sustainable base. A truly habitable planet was discovered in 2010. In the same system as our friend from 2007, Gillespie 581g was described as an Earth-like utopia, being a rocky place with an atmosphere, temperate regions and crucially liquid water. It sounds fantastic. Well, 2 weeks after discovery, another team of astronomers thought they'd look. They found, well, nothing. Planet G was nowhere to be found. It then got a bit messy with each team critiquing each other's work, and we really don't have time here, so moving on. 30 years after the first, the final space shuttle mission, STS-135, aboard the Atlantis, launches on the 8th of July. Returning safely to the Earth 14 days later, a welcome party was ready for the crash retirement to the NASA's Visitor Center. The Mars Curiosity rover reached Mars on the 6th of August 2012. Despite only having a 2-year mission planned, the rover, as of the 27th of May 2021, is still operational. With its plucky efforts, cute shape, and the fact it sung happy birthday to itself in 2013, the rover became a sort of celebrity with its endeavours. This fame led to Curiosity acquiring 4 million Twitter followers as of the time of recording. We haven't checked in on Russia in a while in this video, so this year is all theirs. On the 15th of February 2013, the Chelyabinsk Oblast was rocked by a 20-metre wide meteorite disintegrating above the Earth's surface. Dashcams captured the event. The incident injured nearly 1,500 people through broken glass and other indirect causes. This was the largest meteorite to enter the Earth's atmosphere since the famous Tunguska event in 1908, coincidentally also in Russia. In 2014, the European Space Agency became the first in the world to have a probe land on a comet. The Rosetta probe spent 10 years chasing Comet 67P, otherwise known as Churyumov-Gerasimenko, and lasted 2 days on its surface. Fun fact about this is that the comet itself was only discovered in 1969 by Mr. Churyumov and Miss Gerasimenko. This meant that both were still alive to see a probe land on their discovery 45 years later. The New Horizons probe becomes the first to visit Pluto. On the flyby, the probe took this photo. Look at her. She's adorable. Look her in the eyes and tell Pluto-chan you don't think she's a planet. What's more amazing that was before 2015, this was the best possible image that existed of Pluto. In case you didn't know, this bloke is called Albert Einstein. Einstein was pretty smart. He came up with the theory of relativity in 1915. All of his theories have been proven correct prior to 2016, except one. In basic terms, the outcome of his final, unproven theory would mean that large objects in space have gravitational pull large enough so that they can distort space-time. This impact would create a gravitational wave effect in space-time. Well, in 2016, some fellow big brain intellectuals published their findings of 2 recorded instances of these waves being detected. Honourable mention for this year was the release of No Man's Sky for PlayStation 4.
To Jurassic Park.
Wonder who that could be.
Hello? Yes?
It's an interstellar object that's come to say hi to the solar system. The object was given the name Oumuamua, Hawaiian for a messenger from afar arriving first, as it was discovered by Hawaiian scientists on the 19th of October 2017. Oumuamua was the first object from another star to visit our solar system. Now, given that such an object arriving in the solar system had never been experienced before, some people believed it may be an alien craft of sorts. But that is not the case. In fact, whilst writing this video, NASA released more details on Oumuamua, claiming it is likely a shard fragment from a planet like Pluto. Now, I don't want to argue with the experts with PhDs, but if you examine this artist's rendition of Oumuamua, it is clearly a burger flying through space. In 2018, SpaceX and Tesla decided to do some pointless yet fun marketing by launching a Tesla Roadster into space. The car previously belonged to Elon Musk as his everyday commuter. The car was launched into space and then given its own cosmic driver with the mannequin astronaut Starman. The Tesla Roadster became the first production car launched into space, the lunar rover doesn't count, and the first car to orbit the sun. Wait, doesn't every car on Earth technically orbit the sun by being on Earth, which orbits the sun? Anyway, we don't have time for this, moving on. April 2019. NASA released this photo. This was the first ever image of a black hole. Black holes before this point had been difficult to find due to being so gravitationally strong that no light could escape. This meant the centre of the black hole was dark. It was almost, I don't know, black? Although all the evidence pointed towards the existence of black holes, it wasn't until 8 Event Horizon telescopes worked together to create this image that we got visual confirmation of the phenomena. And finally, 2020, the year of that thing, you know, Animal Crossing New Horizons. The news was dominated in 2020 by the C word. The level of news pressure meant many stories passed by the collective conscious. A story you may have missed this year was the discovery of new galaxies after a scan of the universe by Australian scientists. Now, how many do you think they would have to discover for it to not be noted? 10? 100? 10,000? Well, the scan charted 3 million galaxies across the universe. 1 million of these galaxies have been unknown to humanity up to this point. Now, I have a genuine question. Did any of you hear about this? I lived through 2020 as I'm above the age of 1, and I've never heard of this until researching this video. If you had heard of this, please let me know in the comments below. And that's it, a non-exhaustive list of each year's space exploration achievements since 1969. Despite humanity being stubbornly locked to Earth, progress continues to be made. In 2021, NASA launched the Perseverance probe, which at the time of recording is the current IT thing in space. With the trends of increased participation with lower cost, the future could be even more exciting than years gone by. Maybe one day you could be on a future version of this list for your achievements. Follow your dreams, kids. Or maybe a meteorite will hit Earth killing us all, I don't know. See ya!